Hello friends, Marcy here, and we are coming back for day 2 of the Colorverse Colorvent calendar, and of course the Diamine Inkvent that we will work on simultaneously for the next 24 days. So door number 2 is, see, I've accidentally touched door number 11 there. You can see the perforations are loose, but oh well, we have to be patient. And I'm reading Edge of Night. Okay. What I like about these Colorverse bottles is not only the size, and they're just, so cute, is they're not wrapped in that plastic. I know Diamine's trying to be careful. Oh, I scratched my cap. They're trying to be careful and to prevent leaks, but oh, that plastic is such a hassle. Let me read a little bit about Edge of Night here. Let's see if I can get in closer for you. There we go. Edge of Night is a color inspired by the dusky moment when night ends and dawn begins. So, fabulous. Little quote there. And I'm going to move my box away carefully without grabbing and puncturing some more perforations. I think Kobe sees the cat outside. So, Edge of Night. And again, this is a 15 ml bottle. I did forget to mention in my last video, I talked about the size of bottles and how many bottles are in here. And this is not a shimmer, or as Colorverse calls, a glistening. There's no special qualities about this ink. It's just ink, just standard ink. So, Edge of Night. Before I put this down, I want to bring up the page here. I was so excited and ready to move along. I wrote the Colorverse 2024 Colorvent Day 1, but I forgot to write the name of the first color bottle, Super Giant. So after the video, I went in and added it. And I was very pleased to find the shading. And look at this ring here. It almost has a green sheen. It's either green or dark brown. I don't know if I can there we go. Capture it in the light. And very faintly, some in the lettering there. So it does have some sheening properties, which weren't listed. So I just want to share that. And at the time I was looking at the Diamine bottle, I called this shimmer copper, but now that it's dried, it looks pink. And I think it's just gorgeous. So enough about yesterday. Let's move on. On day 2, we're going to be putting down Edge of Night. And today's video should move along more quickly because I won't have so much talking to do about introducing the two Inkvents. Ooh, pretty, pretty, pretty. And I do want to get a little bit of a puddle somewhere so we can watch for some magic happening. We don't know. I am on day 2. And we have Edge. So this is a wetter ink flowing much heavier down the nib. Edge of Night. Anxious to see the properties on the paper as that dries. Play with some swirls, some line width variations for you. Show off some of the properties of the Kakamori nib. And get this capped before we have an oopsie. It's looking so far like a pretty standard ink. Here where I pooled, P-O-O-L, I do see some violet shades in there. So interesting. And I have 2 rinse jars here. One as a dirty jar and one as a clean jar, just to make sure we don't contaminate anything as we move along. All right. There we go. So all secure here. And let's look at the Diamine box. Wow, day 2 is just right here. That was convenient. So we will look at the color name, and I will pause. Hold on. Move that out of my hand. So we'll look at the color name a little closer. It is called Wilted Rose. Okay, now we're talking. Rose, rose, rose. I love that. Wilted Rose, and it is a standard ink. That's going to be lovely. Standard. Okay. So no shaking or agitating. I will pause and remove that wrapper. Okay. After this video, I'm going to, whoops, remnants. I'm going to have to take the advice of Chris Signs and look in my sewing box for my seam ripper and give that a try. So just opening Wilted Rose because there's no agitation needed. I'll just give it a turn over, and there we go. Hope the lighting's adequate. Oh, this is kind of a brown. It looks like, oh, it looks like a wilted rose. What a perfect name. When you have those rose petals that have expired and they kind of wilt and turn all shades. That is a perfect name, and I love the color. Perfect. Actually, I want to use that in November. Day 2. Play with some swirls, shading properties, and some line variation. Oops, I got a bump in my page. Sorry about that. I probably should have clipped the edges of my paper. There's another lesson for me for tomorrow. But wow, look at us doing a fabulous job with Edge of Night and Wilted Rose. Okay, I'm going to let this dry a minute and come back to close out the video and let you see the ending after it has air dried. All right, we're good and dry on the page for day 2, and we'll look at a little closer at Edge of Night. Looks just a very standard ink. Where I did apply the ink more heavily, it is darker, of course. And then as it was very wet coming off the nib, it's a darker blue. It looks like a slate blue, leaning warm gray. Lovely color. And Wilted Rose. It almost looks like there's some shading where the ink is heavier, where I pulled it, applied it thicker here, and then on the thicker, wetter lines. But I am loving that ink. I want to use it in November. Perfect fall color. Actually, both of these are perfect for fall. Anyway, that wraps up sharing Colorverse and Diamine calendars for day 2. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.